welcome. My name is Amanda and this is my channel, Her Pacific Northwest Washington Life, and today we are kicking off the week 28 reading vlog. I promised to show you a couple things at the end of last week's vlog. Hi Rainy, that was you buzzing on my phone. So quickly, I want to wrap up Finding God in the Lord of the Rings, which is the book that I was gonna finish last night. I did finish it last night, but hadn't finished it in time to wrap it up with the vlog. So this book was different than what I expected it to be. I expected it to be a lot more about the symbolism and relating like a specific thing or character, I guess, in the story to a specific like symbol or thing, again, in the Bible, but it wasn't. It was more taking the themes of the story and relating them to themes in the Bible. I read the epilogue and I thought this was a good sum of it. I believe Jim Ware said that it's an attempt at compiling a series of Christian reflections on the Lord of the Rings, which I would say it is. So it would start out with a passage from the Lord of the Rings. It went in chronological order, I guess. Yeah, that would be. But it went in order of the books and the parts within the books. So for those of you that don't know, the books are themselves split up into like a book 1, book 2, and then the next book would be like book 3, book 4, book 5, and so on. So it would take a little passage within one of the books and kind of explain the background and what happens within the Lord of the Rings, and then relate that to a story within the Bible. And there would be like passages and things and excerpts from the Bible, and then at the end you would have a reflection, just a really quick, like, the scenes of your life serve a story much bigger than your own, and other things like that. So I thought this was really interesting. Took me a bit longer to read than I expected, but it's information that you want to absorb and not just read through quickly. So I'm glad that I read through this. I think I did gain a little bit of a new perspective about the Lord of the Rings and the stories and themes within that I didn't catch when I was originally reading the series. I had my violin lesson today, so I drove to my lesson, and I read a bit more, well, listened to a bit more in The Well of Ascension. If I can log into my Audible here, I can tell you what chapter I'm on. Hopefully it doesn't start playing. I'm in the middle of chapter 18, so this is where I would have left off at the end of last week, and now I'm somewhere, where are we? Somewhere in this general area. It's going well still. I guess not much to say else on that. I'm still feeling like I'm not having a super strong desire to pick up this book, but I will keep listening to it, obviously. And then last night I had Skylar help me pick what book to read next for my physical book. I showed him Immortal Rain and asked, should I read a book to finish off a series, or should I read a book that was recommended by Darshell? And Skylar does know who Darshell is. She is my friend over at the channel Books and Planners. And he picked The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd because he said, well, I think you would enjoy a book that was recommended to you by Darshell Moore, and then when you finish it, you can chat with her about it. So that was all I needed to help me figure out what my next read was. This is, how many pages? It is just over 300, so it should be a nice quick read. Bees remind me of the summertime. I love watching them fly around my flowers, and it's set in South Carolina in 1964. Other than that, I don't really know much about this, so I'm looking forward to reading this and chatting with Darshell, and then possibly watching the movie afterwards. Other update that I promised to give you at the end of last week's vlog that I didn't is progress on the baby blanket that I'm making. I've got a partial skein of yarn right here, so there's this guy right here. Let me back up to show you how big we have it. It's longer than my torso now. If it sits at my chin, it goes past my knees to about mid-shin. So we're getting there. I probably have maybe 2 or 3 more feet to go. I don't know how many skeins of yarn that's going to be, but I want to make it basically like the size of a twin size bed. So that way this can be a blanket on the bed for little Piper and all those other things. Other than that, I need to show you some flowers. So let's get to a little bit of a house walk around tour. Okay, so first flower we have is my China doll. I just put her in I think that was a 6-inch pot. So she's happy back in her corner. These are my flowers I'll be using for my wedding whenever I get to actually wear my dress. But yeah, I like how she looks in this. I think it looks a lot more clean and will just be nicer. I didn't show you this guy yesterday, but this is just a Christmas cactus. I like this pot. He just sits on the table. We move him off when we play games and stuff like that. But we didn't have to repot this one, so there's that. Also, I've been talking about this villains game a lot. This is what I'm talking about when we play Disney Villains, if you're interested. And then walking into the actual kitchen, I put Spike in an 8-inch pot and moved him, he was in the corner, so I moved him to this side. And then it's got the fuzzy things is what I called them at the end of last week's vlog. I have no idea what those are, but they're sitting there. We've still got the succulent and the Ming I put back in that same pot, but I did give it some fresh soil, so hopefully that will be good. I hope I didn't anger it, and I think we're gonna try and find a bigger pot, but when I went to the store they had a 12-inch pot or these 8-inch pots, and that is an 8-inch pot that it's in, so I wanted something like a 10-inch pot, not quite 12-inch yet. And then this is the one that I did separate this one, and I'll show you the other one here in a second. But I put it so the leaves are facing out now because the leaves were facing the window, so I'm hoping the other side will grow in better, but we'll see. So I've got a lot more room back here. And then the other one, well, I've got 2 in my office that I'll show you here in a second. So now in my room, I did keep this brown pot because it's not with the others, so I figured it was okay. But I've got the plant that was in with the other leafy one that, again, I'm sorry, I have no idea what my plants are called. This one I got from Sky's grandma, and then I got 2 sticks to twist tie the 2 that were flopping over to, so hopefully it'll grow a little straighter now. And then the other plant I have in my room that I didn't show you yesterday is a bamboo. And I think my mom got this for me when I first moved in, or I got it when I started working for the company I work for. So it's a good like 6-7 years old. Looks like we've got some new growth up here, which is cool. I also, it's not as brown as it used to be, but I do have some crispy bits that I never know what to do with or what's wrong with it, but it seems healthy and fine, except for this piece that looks like it's trying to grow towards the window and the sunshine a little bit more, so I might need a stick at some point to hold that up. But those are my plants. We just got back from going to the lake and the pier, I guess you could call it. Maddie got a magnet fishing set for his birthday yesterday. His birthday's not until Wednesday, but we celebrated yesterday. And we took him to a little fishing dock at the lake right by our house, which is actually the lake that I grew up going to pretty much every day during the summer. And then we took him to the dock that is right by where my work used to be before we closed down the office. We had a lot more success at the dock than we did at the fishing thing, the lake. We found like half a pair of vice grips and some metal rod thing with another metal thing inserted and a battery. It was a AA battery for those of you wanting to know. So it was fun. Pretty nice weather. Didn't get a sunburn, thank goodness. Just got to get some nice fresh air and things like that. So I did take a couple video clips that I'll insert after this, but now it's going to be relaxed time. Finish X-Men 2 and eat dinner and get some reading done. So probably won't check in again before today is out, but I might tomorrow if I have a reading update for you all. So I don't have much of a reading update. I did listen to The Hero of Ages while I was working all day today. I'm through chapter 31, I think. So they are in a new city finding the fourth keep, or whatever it's called, that the Lord Ruler had. And there's an underwater lake that is filled by a river that runs underwater. I've also been brought to my attention of a character named Hoid that I know you need to pay attention to, because I believe that's the character that appears in multiple books within Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere. But the lake reminds me of the river that ran under Arelon and Elantris in Elantris. So I don't know if that may be how Hoid gets through places or what, but there's a similarity there that I'm keeping at the forefront of my mind as I read and hear more and stuff like that. I read a chapter of I keep wanting to call it the title of Diana Gabaldon's next book. It's oh my gosh, the book by Sue Monk Kidd that I picked up yesterday, The Secret Life of Bees. I read a chapter of that, and these chapters are pretty long, but they are broken up quite a lot. So I won't, I guess I'm the type of person who likes to read a chapter all the way through. I like to stop at the end of a chapter. But if I'm reading and want to continue reading, but the next chapter is too long, I'll feel okay stopping in the middle of these chapters at the different like section breaks and things like that. I can tell that this is going to be a sad book, but that's pretty much all I know of it right now. So I guess I'm excited to cry for when I get to the end of this book, but we'll see what happens. Other than that, today is our last full day with the kiddo. I worked all day and he did school and has been playing games and stuff with Skylar all day. So now it's going to be family time. I won't be reading again until bedtime, but I did get a package today. I got my last Geek Gear subscription box of my 6-month subscription that I had bought, and I wanted to keep going, so it did renew at the beginning of this month for another 6 months. It's the Geek Gear Wizardry box, and I know a lot of people are like canceling J.K. Rowling right now. I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those people who has had feelings changed about Harry Potter. So if you are and you don't want to see what I got, you can just skip this section. But I am going to show you what came in. I think this was this would have been June's box. So in no particular order, I think this was the first thing I picked out of the box. We got a miniature mirror of Erised replica, which is just a little mirror. It's got one of those picture backings so that you can set it up and use it. It's kind of cheaply crafted in that it's just not very straight. This was glued on crooked so that it kind of sits crooked, but it's a cute little idea, I guess. I wasn't sure if this was a picture frame or if it was a mirror, but it does have the mirror in there. But it is like carved and things like that there. So it's got lots of little detail and stuff that's really nice about it, but I'll probably set it on my desk somewhere. That's a good spot. So that was one thing. So I opened up this box. I saw this box and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope this is not a cat plate. We got a cat plate for Dolores Umbridge. I think this is an official licensed item, but it is just a little, it's plastic, just a little cat plate. I love the idea of this. I think that's really fun to have it included, but I don't like pink and I don't like cats. So I might give this to my friend Bailey for her to display because she is a cat person. And she's also a fan of Harry Potter, so I think she might really enjoy that. So I think I'm going to keep that for her. I don't know, maybe I'll hang on to it for a little bit and decide if I will eventually want to display it somewhere. We also got the next charm for this year's charm bracelet, which is a feather. It's got some nice little detail to it. And I think my favorite item, I've got two favorite items, but I really, really like this one. It is a pin that says Constant Vigilance on it with gold foil and Mad-Eye Moody's eyes, so I thought that was really cool. And then my other favorite item is this Polyjuice Potions printout. So it tells you all of the ingredients right here and then how to brew it. And I just think that like the drawings and things with that are really nice. So I am gonna put this away. I might, before we decide to move, we're probably gonna move in maybe like 4 or 5 years, but I might change my office from being a beach theme to being Harry Potter themed so that I can utilize this stuff before. But this would be really nice to just frame and hang on the wall and stuff. So I'm gonna put this away for now, just that way it stays nice. But it's out of a nice thick cardstock, and it is an A4 size. I think that's letter size. So it's just a little taller and a little skinnier than the US letter size 8.5 by 11, but it's still a nice little size. And then we got another print that I really don't like. This one is Voldemort with Nagini. And I don't know. I'm just really picky when it comes to prints. Like, I just wouldn't ever hang a print of Voldemort on my wall. But if you like this print and if you want to support the artist, they are on Instagram at Milton Rafael Castro. So you can look that up there. So that's it. I'm gonna go hang out with the boys now and maybe play some games and start a movie at some point. So I'll check in later. I'm back really quick because I completely forgot to show you the shirt that came in this month's box. It's just normal black and it's got a fake little pocket with Luna's Spectre Specs wand and her cork necklace as well as her Lost list. And it's got all of the things that she lost or went missing from her throughout the year. All right, I think it's been another couple of days since my last update, so I figure I should give you one. I did finish The Hero of Ages, book 3 in the Mistborn series today by Brandon Sanderson. I'm giving it a 3-star rating. I thought it was all right. I think I need to start reading these books as physical books, though. I think I would get a lot more out of them that way. And then upon rereads, I can listen to the audio books. But I was struggling finding the motivation to want to listen to these. And when I would, my attention would just wander. So I'm sure I missed a lot of stuff. But I listened to a majority of this yesterday while I was working and then powered through the last 2 hours today. And the section I read yesterday was really good. There was a lot of things getting explained, a lot of questions being answered, and a lot of just action going on. So overall, decent read. I think overall I probably give the series as a whole like a 3.5 star. But I think maybe in a year or two I will reread the series and probably get a lot more out of this. I'm still working my way through The Secret Life of Bees. I'm struggling with that book only because the chapters are so long, and I mostly read physical books at night when I'm in bed. So if a chapter is like 30 pages long, it's hard for me to want to, because I like to finish a chapter completely. It's hard for me to say like, okay, yeah, let's read another chapter, because I know that's going to be another 30 pages, which takes me, I'm a slow reader, so it doesn't just take me 30 minutes to read. It's not a page a minute a page, or a page a minute. So that one's going a little slowly for me, but I'm hoping to get a good chunk of it read and hopefully finished by the end of this week. I also, after I finished Hero of Ages, I started listening to The Memory of Us by, I think it's Camille Demau, which is a book that takes place around the World War II time period. We have a girl, I think her name is Joanna, or Joanne, or Juliet, or something with a, I think it's like a Joe something, I don't remember, who found out that she has a twin brother who is both deaf and blind, and her parents have kept this a secret from her whole life. He is in a care facility, and she goes to visit him fairly regularly, about once a month, until she finds out there's been this guy who is helping his dad in the gardens. He takes care of the lawn and stuff of the care facility, that she finds attractive and has sparked an interest in. I think his name is Kyle. So she starts to visit her brother a lot more. That way she can run into Kyle. But he is Catholic, and her dad is incredibly against Catholics. This takes place, I think, in the London area, but Kyle is actually Irish, and he is working towards becoming a preacher, a priest. I don't know what the Catholic form is, but he's working on becoming that, which is going to be interesting to find out where this love story, I guess, goes. We're kind of, the beginning started out not at all how I would expected. Our main character, Jo, we'll just call her that, is quite depressed, it seems. And the beginning scene starts out with her wanting to take some pills and not wake up. And then she is called to go help with the birth of a baby, because she's a nurse, and she went to school to be a nurse. That way, when the war came about, there would be nurses ready. So it's kind of flashing back and forth with the present and the past, between our main character and Kyle, and kind of where their lives have gone and things like that. So it's like an 11.5 hour audiobook that I've already listened to 2 hours of, so that's going pretty well. I also got my June Geek Gear box today, and I'll be honest, if my subscription hadn't renewed a couple days ago, getting this box would have made me cancel, because there's no way this meets the minimum value of what they claim their boxes are. It's not a good box. But I'll show you what I got really quickly. So this is the shirt that came with. It's a window with some floating candles in the Great Hall, and it just says, "We've all both light and dark inside us. What matters is the part we choose to act on. That's who we really are." I believe that's a Dumbledore quote. But I really do like their shirts. They're nice and comfy. Other than that, we got 3 plastic things that I honestly could have picked up at the Dollar Tree for $1. We got this little black cauldron, which is a Drought of Living Death cauldron, apparently. We also got this exclusive faux glass replica, which is just a little mirror. It turns and stuff, but it's just a little plastic mirror. There's an exclusive Great Hall cup replica. And then there is an exclusive Flying Key replica, which is kind of cool, but mine's broken. See that? Yeah. Other than that, we got the monthly charm, and this one is a little sock. I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but it does say free elf on it. And then there's an art print, which I've said multiple times, I really don't like prints with people on them, especially like if they're representations of the actors. But this one is Moody and Tonks, which is kind of cool looking, but like I'm never going to display this on the wall. You can also see Kingsley Shacklebolt in the background. But this is artwork done by Tony Blake, and he's on Facebook at Aunt Blake Art. So there's that. I honestly don't know if I'm going to keep any of this stuff. Really, I could find this at the Dollar Tree or like in a little kid prop section for just a couple of dollars. So I really don't see how this adds up to what the like value of the box claims to be. But oh well, I guess can't always win. It just would have been nice, like if this had been the only plastic item and there had been some other nicer items and these had been spread out, that would have been a lot better. But because it's 3 cheap plastic items in one box, I don't think it's okay. But whatever. So we are going to, I think, pick out a movie to watch now. And then after that's done, I don't know what we're gonna do. I did go through a bunch of my stickers today, and I've stopped decorative planning. If you've been on my channel for any amount of time, you might know that I decorative planned for 2 years, and I went through my sticker stash, and these are all the stickers that I know for sure I won't use. So I think I've got a local planner group that I might just do a giveaway on. It'd be nice if I could recoup some of the money I spent, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. So I think I will just see if anyone's starting out and would like some stickers, so that way I can get rid of some, because I really don't think it's something I'm going to go back to, and if I do, it's going to be something very minimal. But yeah, we're gonna see what movie we're gonna pick out, and I'll check in with you when I have an actual update. So Skylar and I spent the morning changing out some fluids in my car. We did an oil change and changed the transmission fluid and the brake fluid. So should be good to go for a little while now. But he's playing video games now, and I was debating what I wanted to do. I was either going to start editing this vlog, I was going to finally organize my craft drawer, I was going to sit down and read, and then I thought that, well, I had a long train of thoughts that got me to where I am now. But I was thinking about the Magical Readathon, the NEWT is happening in August, and how I really want to start planning my TBR for that, but I don't know if that's been announced on the Discord yet. And then it got me thinking that I really want to kind of not fully plan out the rest of my TBRs for the year, but kind of pull out books that I want to read during a specific month, because I am a pretty seasonal reader. So for example, like I wouldn't want to read the Bear and the Nightingale during the summer, because that's a very cold, wintry book for me. So I'd like to read that probably between like end of November to maybe the beginning of March. But there's other books like Frankenstein that feels very October for me, and I know I've got some kind of book centered around holidays and Christmas in specific, so I want to make sure that I am aware of those for December and things like that. So I'm gonna just write out a little list, kind of pull some books that's not going to be complete like bi-monthly TBR or anything like that, but I just feel like I want to be a bit organized, I guess, is where I'm going with this. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I might listen to The Memory of Us while I do this, but I'm not entirely sure if I'll be able to focus enough on the book and what I'm doing for that, so I may not, but we'll see there. Skylar had to run to the store to get a belt for something in my car, so I sat in the driveway in a camp chair and read a couple pages in The Secret Life of Bees while he was running. So I don't really have much of an update since I gave you an update yesterday, but I'm just gonna go through now and kind of figure out what books I have and what will help me with my goals for the rest of the year, and what books I can prioritize here before the year is out, to hopefully drive down that TBR some more. Efas, what you doing over there? That cannot be comfortable, girlfriend. If you say so. I think brother's got the right idea though, huh? You a little stuck now? Are you ignoring me? Efas? Right, last night I finished a book. Not The Secret Life of Bees. I only read a couple pages in that. My goal today is going to be to finish this, because tomorrow Rainey and I are starting After the Fog, and I've got about 200 pages left in this book, which I think my goals today are to practice my violin, to edit and schedule this vlog, and then to sit and read. So I should be able to finish, but I tend to get distracted. But it's also a not very nice day. I think the high is only supposed to be like 66, and it's gray right now. I don't know if we're supposed to get any sort of sprinkling or what, but it's kind of a cozy reading day, or it could be. But last night I finished The Memory of Us by Camille Demoux. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right, so apologies if I'm not. And this book sucked me in so much. I think I explained it the other day when I started it. So we start out following Julianne. That's her name. They were saying Jewel, not Joe. Um, Julianne and her life in the present, which is more than a couple years after the Second World War ended. She is, I can't really tell you what she is because it explains it later on, but she is not happy with life. She wants to end her life, and it starts with her trying to take some pills when a little boy comes to her door and says she's needed for the birth of his next sibling, even though his mom's not due for another couple of weeks. But he says his mom's not doing well. There's a lot of blood, so you need to come. So they end up calling the priest because they know that the mom's not going to make it either through the birth or long after the birth. So Julianne comes, and the priest is as well, and he has the last name of somebody from her past. And so she then, we start to get moments from her past, and it's a lot more about the past than it is about the present. So basically, Julianne is the only daughter of a rich, shipping family living in Liverpool. And she starts out, we already know that she has a twin brother who is both blind and deaf, and she never knew about him growing up. She found out about him by finding the paperwork for the care home that he's in her mom's closet or vanity or something like that. So she's been secretly visiting her brother about once a month at this home, and on one of her visits she sees this guy who she's instantly infatuated with, and she finds out that this guy is the landscaper's son, and he's been working in the gardens and things like that. But he's also taken a special interest in her brother because he noticed that her brother Charles was very reserved and kept to himself. I'm sure you would need extra special care being both deaf and blind, but not only that, you would have had to have someone invest the time into teaching you sign language, and in a very different way than what somebody would need to use who is only deaf. So her brother's just very reserved, very kind of upset. And Kyle, who is the gardener's son, has, like I said, taken a special interest in him. And he just spends time with Charles. He learned that Charles is very much like a touch kind of person. And so he brings plants up to Charles' room and will lead Charles over to them so Charles can touch the leaves and put his fingers in the soil and things like that. And that's really opened him up and helped him a lot. So Julianne starts to visit the home so she can see her brother, but she also schedules her visits and starts to go more frequently on the days that she knows Kyle's working. And it's basically a story of them. It's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet story. She's very wealthy and he's not. She's a white Protestant girl and he is an Irish Catholic boy living in England. And so obviously during that time there was still a lot of tensions between the Catholics and the Protestants. Her dad had a very very poor view of the Catholics. And so not only him being a different class than her, he's kind of this, I guess, like dark spot on humanity in her father's eyes. So it's about their growing love and things like that. And it just tugged at my heartstrings because you want them to be together so badly. And you know that at the beginning of the book, in the present, she is in this state where she is just absolutely miserable with life. And so it's trying to figure out, as the story is unraveling, what led from her being so in love with this boy to her being so miserable. And like the last third of the book, I was just choked up and crying, and it was a good book. I'm giving it a 4-star rating. It was just very quick and very engaging and intriguing, and kind of, I guess, different for a World War II based book. We follow before, during, and after the war, so we get to see Julianne and Kyle grow up from their late teen years into adulthood and things like that. So I really enjoyed the book. I'm glad that I picked it up, and we'll see what audiobook I pick up next. So the other thing I was doing yesterday, I started writing down, I can't remember, I think I only told you about yesterday how I wanted to start planning TBRs for the rest of the year, or like allocating books to specific months or seasons. I also was watching Tara from Buzzword Books, I believe is her name and channel. I was watching her July TBR, and she has 2 different wine glasses that she has book titles in. One of her wine glasses is books from her shelf that she hasn't read that she wants to read, and the other is books that have been on TBRs in the past that she didn't get around to. So that kind of sparked an interest in me in going through all of my past TBR videos. And I was doing this, I was watching the videos on silent, I guess, muted, and like forwarding through to the books that I was showing on the screen, and writing down the books that I had on TBRs and marking off, like I just colored in when I had read a book and when I hadn't read a book. And it's not specific to like whether I finished it during that month's TBR or what, it's just if I've read it since then. And I thought it might be fun to do something like that as well. But because I am a seasonal reader, I could mark the titles on specific colored paper, which I know kind of defeats the purpose of it being like a random draw. But then, like, say if I did blue for winter or something, I'm picking for a winter month, I could specifically go for a blue piece of paper and pull out a book that I at one point wanted to read and then never got around to. So I'm kind of slowly doing that. I did all of 2018 and all of 2020, so I need to go back and do 2019 and see if I even like have books that are worthwhile for that. I'm surprised that I've actually read a majority of the books that I've put on my TBRs. So that's nice. But yeah, I think I might, well, I need to prioritize reading. I was going to say I might do that as well. I might do it while I'm editing because I just make sure the clips are okay. I'm not sitting there focused on the clips, especially for vlogs. And I don't really add in much of anything except for like the day and stuff at the start of the day, and a little bit of like page turning transitions to give it something else. But I might do that. Yeah, I think though right now I'm going to get started on editing so that way I can know that I'll only have maybe another like 20 minutes of editing when I'm ready to wrap this up. and then can sit and kind of relax a bit more and read. So that's going to be the plan for right now. And as I get more done and get more read in The Secret Life of Bees, I'll definitely keep you posted. Well, it's been a couple hours since my last check-in, and I've managed to read a whopping like 20 pages of The Secret Life of Bees. We helped my parents move in 2 pieces of furniture, so that took a bit of time, and then played 2 rounds of Magic, which also took a bit of time. So I'm not gonna finish The Secret Life of Bees today. I think we're gonna eat dinner now. We're having burgers and probably fries or tots or something, and then watch Westworld. And Sky and I might play one more round of Magic, but I'm not entirely sure. So I'm definitely not going to be able to finish Secret Life of Bees today. But I do hope to read a bit more when I get into bed. So I'm just going to close this vlog out now. I had a pretty good reading week overall. I do feel like I'm stalling a little bit in The Secret Life of Bees, and it's not for any particular reason other than I need like a good chunk of time to sit down and read and not be interrupted, and I don't think I've had that yet for this book. So I'm just over the 100-page mark, so hopefully now it'll go a little quicker, but we'll see. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave off here, and just hope that you had a good week as well, and would love to know what you read this past week or what you are carrying over into the next week. Let's see, I finished 2 books this week, so I only have 1 to carry over for next week, which is good. But yeah, I would love to know what you have going right now, so please do let me know in the comments below, and I will chat with you there until my next video. Bye!